These are the masters of speed. This is Formula One.
It's Monza. It's another setup video. Let's go. So, you know the drill. Waiting on the 5 red lights. And absolutely tear off the line with a awesome start. At 6/10 already. Need to be careful. Obviously, turn 1, turn 2. You take an absolutely gorgeous heavy traction zone. You need to be really mindful of that. Turn 3, not too bad, no dramas, straight flat. Again, now this is a chicane where you also need to be careful of, because it is a traction zone. Into Lesmo 1, no dramas. You need to take it slowly, but carry as much speed as you can. Lesmo 2, same again. Easily does it. If you carry too much speed through there, you are washing out wide with the understeer. Into Ascari, messed that up a little bit. But yeah, no dramas. Heading down now into Parabolica. Again, need to take this cautiously, but again carry as much speed through it as you possibly can without drifting out wide. And then there's a lap. There is a lap of Monza. Obviously the cars behind, they're going to get DRS and slipstream. You can fight them off, but I'm not too bothered about the result. Never have been. And again, I've always said I'm not the fastest racer around there. I just know a little bit about a little bit, and the little bit I know, happy to share. As like I said, and I've said it many a times, I remember when I was starting out trying to learn different things and trying to find setups, and this setup would work and this setup wasn't, and I'd go into league races and I'd spin out, and yeah, just nothing would work, man. And that's when I learned to do setups and try and just be better at what I could and where I could. And obviously now I'm doing no line, which is interesting to say the least, but it is what it is. So I did a 33.9, I'm happy with that. Traction is so good in these F2 cars. You can really pull away. Obviously, Duan had the aid and the benefit of slipstream, so was able to go faster than me. He only did a 0.06 where I did a 1.6, but that's okay. But yeah, Monza is an absolute awesome circuit, but it will punish you if you do not pay attention, or you do not treat it with respect. Obviously, as tyres wear, grip becomes less, and especially going through the chicane and here, Parabolica. You need to be more and more careful. So DRS is activated this lap. Somebody's just done a 33.6.
How does you set the fastest lap of the race so far?
That's the thing, you can outbrake the AI and then just take off. Now this is how good the traction is in these F2 cars. I've already pulled a nice 7/10 gap where we were side by side. Yes, understeer is extremely poor. But traction versus understeer, I'd rather have no understeer, obviously. But we don't always get what we want. So we just have to make the best of a bad situation. And obviously stay within the white lines, as nobody wants penalties. But obviously the setup is coming up at the end. It's a little bit on the high side wings wise.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
But I'm happy with it. Duan must have had a moment because managed to gap him. He's out of the DRS, so and Fittipaldi's got past him. And obviously, the more you practice, the better and faster you'll become. I guarantee you that. This game, I would argue, it is about 80% rinse and repeat. Purple first sector, green second. No use of slipstream or anything because obviously I've been out in front. Do all that good stuff. Hit the like button and I'll see you for the next one. Take care.
For sublime performance to secure the top step at the podium today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
As we can see, it's time for the podium. And I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Alex. But if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Zane Maloney.
And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Monza setup then. Monza is obviously a low downforce circuit. It is full of trials and tribulations. Even though it's a low downforce circuit, there are still some very tricky corners to navigate. You've got turn 1, turn 2, which is a heavy traction zone, and if you ain't careful, if you put the loud pedal down too quickly, it will spin you out. You've got no problems about that. It's brutal. You've got the parabolica then, which is extremely understeery. You need to make sure you take that at the right speed, otherwise you just drift out, just wash out, completely wash out wide. You've got the Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, again they're another tricky corners that you need to make sure that you get right, otherwise again you will drift out wide with understeer. Understeer is extremely prevalent in these cars, and there is not a lot you can do to get rid of it. Believe me, I've tried, but you know, you get it right, you nail it, and it will really, really help you. To the setup then, I've gone with a bit high, you might say, but you need that. You need the turn in for, like I said, the Lesmos, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. It helps as well with Ascari, the long sweeping chicane. But yeah, it helps. So 12 on the front and 9 on the rear. It seems to work really well. You could probably drop that to 10.8, but for the sake of this setup, I've gone with 10.9. I would happy to run 10.9 as well in a race. Just remember, if you can stay in that DRS, you got no dramas at all. On the transmission end, I've gone with completely 80 on, 20 off. You can run 60-40 if you want. I wouldn't recommend doing 40-60 or 20-80. I would. I always keep it between either 60-40 or 80-20. As I said, your choice. But yeah, you need to, when running 80-20, you need to make sure that you are gentle on the throttle coming out of turn 1 and 2. So yeah, you just be careful. And also the second chicane, before the Lesmos, yeah. On the suspension geometry then, I've gone with completely right, so it's minus 2.5. I've gone completely right again, which is minus 1. Gone with 0 on the front toe, and I've gone with 0.13 on the toe in. Seems to help. Again, you could run right, left if you wanted, but it seems to work really, really well. So yeah, I'm happy with it. So why not? On the suspension then, quite firm. Not as firm as some of the setups, but still firm enough. Again, you could run 40, 130 if you want to do it. Makes no drama. Makes no difference at all. But again, for the sake of this setup, I've gone with 36 on the front. I've gone with 30 on the rear. It works. If something works, just run with it. And with this, again, with this base setup, make the setup your own. Change it. Run 41, 30, or run whatever. Try it. If it doesn't work, you can always revert back to the setup and go the opposite way, or on the front anti-roll bar then a 14, on the rear anti-roll bar is 6. Again, as I said, not as firm or as stiff as other setups, but again, it seems to work. On the ride height, 32, 37, sorry. I wouldn't run any lower than 33 because of the curbs. If you hit the curbs, you will bottom out around Monza. It is just the nature of the beast. It really, really is. But yeah, it works. So that's the main thing. And if something works, just roll with it. On the brakes then, again, I run 56. It stops the rears from locking. You can run 54. If you are better on the brakes than I am, that's again because I'm still learning. I'm learning line only, and without the line, it does seem to. You seem to be a lot harder on the brakes than you usually would, obviously running no line, because you have an indicator of weight, carrying more speed through, etc. But yeah, it is what it is. So 56%, you can run a lot lower than that if you are more confident on the brakes than I am. On the tyres then, going with 23.8 on the front. You could probably go to about 24. I wouldn't recommend going higher than 24, but yeah, that's about right. and again 21.7 on the rear. You could take that to 22. You have to remember, around circuits like Monza, there aren't many corners to generate tyre heat, and obviously heating the tyres only happens when you are manoeuvring through corners, so just be mindful of that. But this is Monza. It is an absolute awesome circuit. I love it, I really do. Do all that good stuff. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know in the comments what you think, and yeah, be happy to hear from you. Do all that good stuff, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.